In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to color your your self-portrait in the painting center. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to be painting our skin and our hair. Now in the painting center, I will have all different colors of paint depending on what color, and you can choose a color that works best for your skin and your hair color. So for this portrait, I'm going to be using this kind of peachy color for the skin and brown color for the hair. So we're just going to start with those two. So start out with a medium-sized brush. You're going to dip your paintbrush in. Now you'll notice I didn't go all the way up to the gold part. I made sure that I'm leaving some bristle space in there. You never want to put too much paint on your brush because you'll get globs of paint, and tempera paint tends to look very sloppy when it's globbed on. It also, if it's too thick, it can actually crack, and your painting will not look very good if the paint cracks off of it. So I'm putting thin coats and I'm smoothing the paint out until my paint actually starts to get kind of streaky. Once my paint gets streaky, then I know that I can get more paint. So you see how it's getting kind of streaky now? Now I know I need more paint. So I'm going to dip again, only halfway. Now when I paint, I want to make sure I go very carefully around my eyes and around my eyebrows because they're not going to be the same color as my skin. Now if when you go around your eyes and your eyebrows you need a smaller brush, you are welcome to just help yourself to another one. They're located in between the two sinks. Okay, so I'm going to smooth this out. I'm doing my best to make sure that I'm staying inside my lines. It's very, very important. Now, if when you're painting you cover your nose, if you smooth enough with your brush, you should still be able to see your nose. But if it gets lost, we can always go back in and paint the line for your nose. Now I want to paint my neck, so don't forget your neck and your ears, because they have skin on them too, right? We're not part skeleton. So always go around the edges first and then paint the middle. So you'll notice now I have nice even coats of my paint on there. Now I want to do my hair, so I'm going to get some brown. And now I made a boy in this picture, but if you're a girl or a boy with long hair, you would just paint what you drew, right? So if you had long hair like this, you would paint that. Now, I am going to actually try to make my hair look curly. So I'm going to kind of wiggle my brush while I'm painting a little, and that's going to help me to have a curly texture. If you have straight hair, you would just do straight lines with your brush, just like we saw before. So I'm doing half curly and half straight. Now, to do my eyebrows, I'm actually going to get a smaller brush and I'm going to paint them in as well. Okay, so I'm only getting a little tiny bit of paint on my brush. Okay, so that was part one, where I'm doing my skin and my hair. Now I'm going to move on to part two. You're going to need half a cup of water in a yogurt cup. And you're also going to need some tempera cakes, okay? These are located at the end of the painting center. Now, it's important with your tempera cakes, I'm washing my brushes right now, to make sure that you really, really rub the color. So, I'm going to paint my background right now. Let's say I want a nice bright orange background. I'm going to rub on here. I'm going to start painting my background. Now you can choose to have your background be one solid color, or you can choose to do multiple colors. So if you wanted to make this look like a rainbow if you want, or you wanted to make a pattern, you could do orange, then you could do red and violet. Now also try to paint when you're doing this in the same direction. And if your paint is really, really wet on your hair or your skin, be very careful when you're going around. Right now my paint is wet, so I'm going around my edges very carefully. It's important that when you're painting that you're showing good craftsmanship. If your paint is too watery, it will look very, very thin and kind of streaky. You don't want that. You want to make sure you really rub those temper cakes to get a nice color. So I'm just going to show you how to do half of my background so that I don't spend too much time doing the video. From here, you can then paint your shirt, okay, just like we did with the background, okay? Make sure your brush is nice and clean. Now you'll notice here, this is a little streaky, this color. So I think that I need to rub my temper cake more. Really get some nice thick paint on there. And I'm going to go right around the edges. Like this. It's always best to paint your edges first, because then you can always fill in the middle last. It's a little bit easier. Now you'll notice that I'm starting to get some paint on the table. When you're doing this, I'd like you to get a big piece of newsprint paper from the cart located by the windows, and make sure that you put it down on the table. It'll just be one last thing that you have to clean up later. Okay. Now I'm going to do my eyes, so I'm going to get a small brush. If you have brown eyes, you can use the brown paints that I have out for the hair. If you have blue or green eyes, you can use the paints on the temper palette. I'm going to make this boy have blue eyes. So I'm doing nice and neat, staying inside the circle. So I'm going to paint around the circle first, and then fill it in. Okay, now for my lips, I have red and white on here. I'm going to take a little bit, get my white wet, wash my brush, get a little bit of red, and I'm going to mix it into my white, and I'm going to get a nice light pink color. Like that. Then I'm going to carefully paint my lips. Like that. And if I have any spaces in between my teeth in there, I can paint those spaces red. Like the inside of my mouth. Okay, so now I would just finish this side here, and now I have my finished self-portrait in the painting center. Best of luck.